I'd like to start this video with a few disclaimers. Although these do mix with SpellBreak, I'll still leave a timestamp so you may skip as it's not all too important. Okay, for starters, all of this info is easily accessible, and I will have links and credit to the original posters in the description. Second, I'm trying to get in as much info as possible into this and possible upcoming videos, although you'll need to forgive me if I get anything wrong, as I'm not in the actual playtest, at least at the moment, of me making this video, hint hint, proletariat. So some info will be shown, but not 100% accurate. Finally, please, and I can't stress this too much, as I always see issues like this in early access games, please remember SpellBreak is in pre-alpha, which means it's an extremely early access game, so a lot of content currently in the game, or content in the press packs, are likely to change. Hell, I could post this video and tomorrow every bit of content is different. It's unlikely, but who knows. There will also be timestamps at the start of each subject, so if you believe you've seen this info before, you can skip to the next section where hopefully something new will come your way. Okay, on to the video, disclaimer's over. Welcome to the ultimate pre-alpha content breakdown. We're going to start with the obvious info most players should already know. What is SpellBreak? On the press kit, Proletariat say their game is a PvP RPG set in a ravaged fantasy world filled with elemental magic and emergent gameplay. You'll start from nothing, loot, choose upgrades, and defeat enemy players to become the ultimate battle mage. We want to create the ultimate spellcasting combat game, one that balances skill, strategy, and depth with groundbreaking new mechanics like elemental interactions. Part roguelike, part battle royale, and all RPG, SpellBreak is a fusion of genres that is greater than the sum of its parts. They also make mention of the gameplay itself, along with the RPG systems and their unique art style. Assume the role of a battle mage in fast, action-packed combat, dodging spells and destroying your foes. Draw upon many different spells, each with their own strengths and drawbacks to outwit and outskill competition. Magic interacts in explosive ways, freeze elements to climb to new locations, blow up poison clouds to create dragon fire. Each piece of gear affects you differently, granting access to new and unique powers. As the match progresses, you'll choose from dozens of skills, each one drastically increasing your power level, unlocking a variety of build options to help you survive in the Hollow Lands. As you unlock more classes to add to your character each time you arrive to the Hollow Lands, the treasure, the elements, and the storm itself will be different. SpellBreak is a world of unique vision, with stunning cel-shaded environments and dynamic characters. Magic is not only fun to use, but power and impressive to behold. Environments and backgrounds feel painterly and impressionistic, but are also well suited for the fast action gameplay. Overall, I believe their summary of the game itself is brilliant. As long as you've seen their gameplay teaser trailer, you should understand perfectly what they're saying. The summary doesn't give away too much to be considered a leak or anything, as you could just guess most of it through the teaser trailer. I'm now going to add to their own words with my personal opinion, starting with the art. The art looks incredible. It gives somewhat of a warm feeling even when looking at the ice. There doesn't seem to be any inconsistencies with the art style, and if I had to suggest this art style looks similar to anything I've seen before, I would say it looks like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Although that being said, I don't think the Breath of the Wild ever looked this good. This all being said though, I'm only having this opinion through what I've seen in the promotional footage and leaks of the game. The game itself could look very different to me being in the game whilst playing, but that'll have to wait for the future when I actually get into the game. I don't believe I could talk too much on the gearing side of things other than my beliefs of how things might work, as I haven't found too much about it, and I haven't played the game yet, as I've already said, so I feel my info on this side of things might be wrong, so I'd rather link to another YouTuber who I believe covered this area pretty well. His name is Quantum. From what I've seen, he seems to make some pretty good content, and his video covering the topic will be referenced in the description. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how I think the looting works. From the looks of things, it doesn't look like chests are a thing in the game. Like many other battle royales, I think the items are possibly just scattered around, similar to how PUBG and H1Z1, although I hope this doesn't hold true to gauntlets. If you do have to go loot your gauntlets, it would just feel weird seeing an extremely powerful weapon just randomly on the ground for anyone to use. Further looking at the teaser trailer though, I realized in the very first clip, in some ruins, the player flies by, you see something which resembles a shrine. Perhaps this is how our gauntlets work. Maybe we spawn with 2 gauntlets without any elements attached, so we find a shrine and absorb its power. Personally, I hope that does hold true, as that sounds quite interesting. Gauntlets look like they may have multiple levels to them, which might show a rarity, or that they'll possibly upgrade as time passes by in the current match. Or hell, maybe they'll even upgrade for a specific item or shrine you need to find. There's a lot of possibilities with little info on my end. You can also clearly see on the screen there are a variety of different appearances shown here, whether this is cosmetic features they plan to add into the game, or are just different design concepts they had whilst thinking about how the gauntlets should look. They all look incredible either way, and I know personally I'd love to see these in game as at least cosmetic if they're not planned to be anything for anything else. Next up, I'll be talking about the abilities in game. Again, it should come as no surprise, this is a difficult topic for me to talk about as I haven't played yet, so I'm unsure on most here, but I will try my best to explain at least the very basics of which I understand. Again, my sources will be in the description in case anyone wants to look over them and check if I've got anything wrong. So I believe you have 3 total abilities. Not actual elemental combinations, I'll talk about them later. 2 of these abilities come from your gauntlet, whilst the 3rd I believe is called a rune. Your primary ability uses mana. Mana can recharge. Your secondary ability should be on a cooldown, so from my understanding, it shouldn't use any mana. Lastly, runes, you may only have 1 equipped at a time, and I don't know too much about the runes at all other than what they actually are, but I would take a guess that you would most likely have a limit to how many times you can use it till it possibly destroys itself. As an example, the blink ability is supposed to have 3 charges and a very low cooldown. I would imagine after those 3 charges are gone, you might lose that rune, but there may also be ways to get more charges, so more experienced players may be able to keep the same rune the entire match. I'd also seen hints of gameplay from the latest Ice Lance gameplay shown in the Imgur clip. In the Imgur clip I am showing now, where it seems like there are 2 runes on the ground from a single player killed, so possibly you have an inventory that you can hold multiple runes in, but you're only allowed 1 equipped at a time. First, we'll talk about your primary ability. Of course, the primary ability comes from your main gauntlet, although I don't know how you decide which is primary and which is secondary. Your ability will change depending on which is which, so as an example, the Ice Gauntlet, if in primary, will give you the Ice Lance, a long-range sniper-like ability, whereas if you have the secondary, you'll get the ability Blizzard, an AoE stun. There are 6 elemental gauntlets currently, so this would mean you have the potential for 6 primary abilities, which are Ice Lance, as you've already heard, is a sniping ability, although you can also leave a trail of ice to slide on and speed yourself up. The Earth ability Tremor, an ability which does a straight line of destroyed ground. The Lightning ability Sparks, an ability which sends multiple shots out in a small burst. The Fire ability with the classic fireball, a projectile of fire. I assume most people would know this one. The Poison ability Acid Spray. It's a smaller projectile which can leave acid puddles and a possible residue on walls or objects. And finally, the primary Wind ability, Wind Shear, is able to remove surfaces such as fire or poison. I'm not sure if it can remove ice though, as I've only been listed fire and poison. It starts with a cast time, but then continues on a rapid fire, and you can shoot at your own feet for a high jump, although I'm only told it can shoot at your own feet. I feel like it isn't limited to that. You might be able to shoot at a teammate or an enemy to send them flying too, although I'm not too sure about that. The Wind Gauntlet as a primary seems almost essential to any team in my opinion. Next up are the secondary abilities listing in the same previous order. The Ice ability, as previously stated, Blizzard, is an AoE stun. The Earth ability Boulder Toss is a boulder which, when thrown, will grow bigger as it flies. Although I don't think it can continuously grow, I believe there is a limit to its size. The Lightning ability Lightning Strike seems like a large AoE ability causing random lightning strikes in the designated area. The fire ability Firewall is a literal fire wall. I imagine it could also be used as a type of cover or smoke screen. Then again, I also think it works as a double-sided blade, as I imagine ice would melt if it touches it, but if a poison user shoots through, there will be a large amount of dragon fire. The poison ability Poison Cloud is a literal cloud of poison. You can walk through it and become unseen to most players, although a player just needs to shoot it with fire, and also you will take damage inside. Apparently the cloud expands to 8 meters. I don't know if this still holds true though. And finally, the wind ability, Whirlwind. All I know of this ability is it's a type of movement ability. Other than that, I can't really say much for it. Lastly, the runes. Your third ability option, you're able to find these out in the world as previously said. You're only allowed to have one rune at a time. I'll go through the list of runes I'm currently aware of, though there could be more, as there are 8 I'm currently aware of, which is obviously more than the gauntlets. My guess is there'd probably be 12 in total, possibly more in the future if new gauntlets got added. The first rune, Blink, an ability to teleport a short range. It has 3 charges and a low cooldown. The second rune, Teleport, is a long-range teleport with current cast time of 0.4 seconds and is considered a strong rune. The third rune, Invisibility, literally the power to go invisible, although the only info I have for this right now is the current time of how long you can stay invisible. And I got this from some gameplay footage that you can see on the screen now. It seems to be around about 6 or 5 seconds. The fourth rune, Chronomaster, an ability to go back in time and recover some health and mana. I don't know if this will have an effect similar to Tracer from Overwatch, where you physically go back in time. The fifth rune, Featherfall, is when you fall from a high height and you'll have a reduced fall speed, which I imagine means will possibly have a full damage, either that or it's an ability to help make jump shots. I also don't have any numbers for this, so it could be a passive ability activating itself when you've fallen from a height, or you could activate it yourself. I am not 100% sure. The sixth rune is called Shadow Step. It's a blink and invisibility smacked together, with less time being invisible and only 1 charge. Although it sounds somewhat weak, I imagine this would be a very fun ability to use if you enjoy playing an assassin role. The seventh rune is Flight. Yes, you can literally fly. The cast time is currently 0.4 seconds, although the flight time is limited. I don't have the number, but from the teaser trailer, we can tell during that time it was at least 4 seconds. You also can't fight during flight, so whilst great for getting up close or far away, Teleport or Blink rune are probably better options. And finally, the 8th rune, Wolf's Blood. It shows enemies' positions in a limited area around you, although I would imagine they appear on your map currently in the bottom right of your screen, but I'm not sure it could turn out to be an ability similar to a limited wall hack for all I know. I feel it's appropriate to talk about the elements now, make it clear what elements there are in case you skipped everything and somehow didn't know. Address some of the combined elements I know, and even some that might be in the game by taking a guess. First, let's start with what elements are actually currently in the game. That'd be wind, fire, ice, earth, poison, and lightning. They all seem to have their own strengths and weaknesses of using them, but right now, from what I've seen, and could probably guess, the most popular combination right now is most likely fire and poison. I could be wrong, but it's only a guess. Time for the combinations, something I feel most people watching are probably really interested in. We'll start in order of I previously listed. So, wind, I honestly can't think of any combinations. The obvious one, which we already know from earlier, is wind can clear substances from the surface, example being fire and poison. As I've already said, I imagine ice and water included too, but I only have fire and poison listed. I would also say, or well hope, that wind, especially the whirlwind ability, is able to throw debris, so the small rocks that shatter off the boulder toss, but I'm not sure if that's something that happens in the game. Next element is fire. Fire is able to mix with any poison to make dragon fire. Dragon fire is a green fire which varies in size depending on the ability you previously used. Poison Cloud will make a large explosion of green fire, whereas Acid Spray will leave small puddles or trails of Dragon Fire, which I believe could be used for a type of fuse, which could be very interesting in my opinion. Along with Dragon Fire, fire is obviously also capable of melting ice if that wasn't obvious. Although, once the ice is turned to water, you can throw fire at the water and create steam, which to my understanding does dot damage if you're inside of the steam. I do also believe, from the teaser trailer, we do see a red boulder, so I imagine Boulder Toss can be a molten rock type or of object to possibly increase damage, along with that if you mix your Tremor and a Firewall together. I don't know if it's infinite, but you can make Firewalls in the Tremors to the point that it looks like you could have infinite Firewalls with just one actual Firewall. Back to the red boulder though, I don't know if that was a glitch. It somewhat looks like a glitch, obviously you guys can see the gameplay. I'll let you guys decide on that. It's pre-alpha, expect glitches. Please don't hate the game for any bugs right now, it's expected. I don't know any other combinations for fire, although I suppose wind could be used to make it more difficult to breathe, possibly decrease your speed or give you dot damage as you can't breathe properly. I highly doubt that'd be a mechanic, as it sounds too awkward of a skill to want to use. But hell, the game looks great, and hey, maybe they add scientific stuff into magic too. The third set of combinations is ice. With the poison abilities, you're able to freeze them. Now I don't know if their poison effects take place through the ice or if it still tries to slowly dissolve or eat away at the ice, but I imagine it still has the same slip effect as normal ice does. Although if you freeze a poison cloud, you're able to have a frozen wall, which there is some art showing the frozen poison cloud with an acid spray which just clings to the frozen wall, with the only message it says is "looks gross." As you can see, I don't know if that would give off a poison effect or not, but if it doesn't, it's at least interesting to know there are some purely cosmetic combinations. I don't know if there are any ice and earth combinations, but I will say it would be amazing if you could blizzard a boulder toss and stop it before it hits you in the face, or even ice lance it and just shatter or slow down the boulder toss. The next combination is earth. I can't think of any that I haven't previously mentioned other than a guess for a combination that perhaps lightning is completely stopped by earth. Now that may not sound too helpful right now to newer players, but when I get to lightning you'll understand why that would be an incredible function in the game. But as I said, it might not be actually in the game. The next combination is poison, and again I can't really think of anything on poison side that I haven't mentioned previously, although you should be able to use an acid spray to shoot through a firewall and cause dragon fire to possibly hit the caster of the firewall. Finally, lightning. Lightning, as you would have expected, is able to be conducted by ice. So the Ice Lance Trail is an extremely deadly combination with lightning. The same is to be said with poison. If you hit a poison cloud with your sparks ability, a large explosion of electricity will come out almost instantly. The combination, to my understanding, is called Toxic Shock, and now I imagine people are understanding why the earth element stopping lightning would be so strong, as you could boulder toss to a poison cloud to stop the toxic shock effect, or tremor halfway on the Ice Lance Trail to stop the lightning traveling any further. Though remember, I don't know if the earth element works like that, it's just a theory. These are all the element combinations I currently know or could think of that might be in the game. Onto the classes, another thing I believe a lot of people are here for. I'm going to run through the basics of what I know, but I'll link in the description a YouTuber who I believe covered the 3 classes we currently are allowed to talk about pretty well. His name is C9 Stark, I believe, and as I said, his YouTube will be in the description. I'll also leave a link to the Pastebin and Imgur page, so you can find more about the classes when they get updated in the description. So there are 11 classes, 6 to do with the major elements, and 5 which are just flavor classes. You'll pick 2 classes in the game. Each class has a helpful passive such as Resurrect once with half health. I believe this passive is for the Pyromancer class. Classes aren't limited to the gauntlets you're using, so you could have a wind and ice yet still be a Pyromancer. Skill points are a thing, You'll gain them when the death circle closes in. Skill points are also gained by capturing shrines marked on the map likely to be contested by other players. When you obtain a skill point, you need to choose between one randomly picked minor passive called a scroll from both selected classes. An example of a scroll is armor piercing. The damage you deal can bypass the armor. Moving on to queuing and competitive. I'm not sure how queuing with a specific region or server works, but as for a group playing, there is reportedly solo play, duos, playing with you and another player, as well as squads playing with you and 3 other players. I'm unsure if you could queue by yourself in a squads game, or if you could just use a fill option. All I know are the amounts you're able to queue with. Currently doing this video, duos are out of the game for testing and squads should be added soon. As for competitive, Proletariat have said that they would like to add competitive, but for the moment they would rather wait to see how other battle royales such as PUBG, Fortnite, and so on handle their MMR, as it has its own challenges in finding the right balance between kills and placement. Overall, with competitive, I would say not to expect it anytime soon, as it's going to be a struggle to figure out the calculation to make everything seem fair when handing out the ranks. I've realized I may have left out a few gameplay mechanics, so I'm going to try and fit them in, although if I've forgot anything, let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to respond. To start, yes, there are health and armor pots in the game. They come in a small and big version. From the looks of it, smaller is quicker to drink as you would expect, and your armor should cap out at 75. Matches last on average 5 to 15 minutes, with a player capacity of 50. Currently, Proletariat have mentioned how if they can make that number larger, they probably will. Although the map is currently only designed for 50 players, so another map would possibly need to be created. Armor should take priority of your health, and soon to be released into the game is over armor. I'm unsure as to what exactly it is, but I know for sure they plan to have over armor priority over armor, so it would work in over armor priority, and then finally your health would be hit. So just think of yourself as a mini boss. Currently friendly fire is on. I say currently as Proletariat have discussed how players have found it slightly frustrating to die by a teammate or even killing yourself with an ability, because that is also a thing. But this doesn't mean they would remove it completely. They've discussed possibly lowering the damage done by a teammate. Personally, I would say this is the best of both worlds. I would rather friendly fire not be taken out of the game completely. Servers should be up 24/7, so even though it may say something in the Discord about, oh, playtests are now available or something, you should still be able to play the game no matter what. I don't know officially what the playtest message is all about. Keys are given out to all regions, not any specific one, although I do believe there are only currently US and EU servers. So if you're out of one of these regions, you'll possibly have to deal with a bit of latency issues. Finally, if you've been waiting 2+ weeks after signing up and haven't tried to sign up again, please contact an elder on the Proletariat Discord, or even an apprentice. I think both of them can help you out, even a dev maybe. There might even be a customer support page. If there is, it will probably be left in the description. Although, if you have tried to sign up again, this would have reset your time, and will most likely have to wait again. Overall, please be patient. We all understand how incredible this game looks, and all want to play it as soon as possible. But there aren't always enough keys to go around, and in case people didn't know, Steam has to send keys to Proletariat, so there is an actual limit. But that being said, Proletariat is working on making their own launcher, and currently we haven't been told if it worked well or not yet, but if they make their own launcher, that means lots more keys will be going out, so that 2+ week section of signing up could be cut down in half. But that's, again, we don't know for sure. I appreciate everyone who's come to check out this video. I apologize if it was a little longer than you expected. Currently looking at my audio, I can see that it's recorded to 40+ minutes, but that has to be cut down, and I'm hoping to get it down to like around about 20 minutes. Hopefully that will be a little bit more enjoyable. This is my first time making a video like this. Hell, my script for this is even 8 pages long. But for everyone who's stuck around, I appreciate it, and I hope this video helped with any questions you had about SpellBreak. If there's anything else you'd like to know, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to respond. Please remember though, I may not be able to answer because of DMCA currently on SpellBreak, but again, I will try my best to answer any. Again, thank you for anyone who's checked out this video, and I hope everyone has a great day.